Yeah.
Okay, I'm in my garage right now about to do a rehousing. It's a little bit chilly. It's in the high 40s. I don't plan on being out here that long, but we're about to rehouse what used to be the Lampropelma violaceopes. It's just had a name change. It is now Omothymus violaceopes. I will post a link to the information on that because H. lividum now has a new name as well. So just trying to keep people informed of some of the name changes. Now, this is one of the more hot tarantula, quote unquote, hot tarantula species. These guys do have pretty nasty venom, and it's an arboreal, so they can move quick. So I'm not doing this one in my home on my dining room table where the kids are around, the dogs are around. So we're out here in the garage. We have something set up where I got my brand new table that I bought from Ocean State Job Lot. Crappy little table, but it's working really well. And this way, with the arboreals, I found that if they do start to race, they kind of end up on the table, and you can cup them that way. Also, normally when I do rehousings, I have the new enclosure sitting right there, but this one I'm going to have to dig out. And the last time I did my violaceopes rehousings, I had them in something as slings about this size, as they were about an inch and a quarter or so long. And when I went to pull them out, I found that unlike some of the other species that burrow, they kind of create like a silk, almost like a sock underneath the ground. So with most of my burrowing species, I can just kind of scrape all the dirt away and eventually the spider pops out and I cup it. With these guys, on all three cases, they were basically in these silk socks that I had to kind of whittle through. And in one case, I actually thought I had the spider coming out and it was a molt. And the spider actually shot out the other direction. So I'm going to try to be a little more careful this time. This enclosure in particular, the guy just molted. I was about to give it a rehousing earlier on because I noticed some mold slash fungusy type spore stuff going on here. I re-wet it down because this is a species that needs it moist, and I keep the soil nice and moist on these. And as I've stated in my other videos, I don't just spray them. I kind of pour water in, make it rain. And unfortunately, something got in here and I got this yellow fungusy stuff. Now, I generally don't freak out with mold and that type of thing. I didn't in this case, and I knew it was in pre-molt, so I didn't want to take the chance because I couldn't see it of digging it out and having it be in the middle of molt, which would be tragic. So what I did is wait till it was nice enough to take the molt and throw it outside of its enclosure, so I knew that it had been done molting. I fed it once, and now we're going to go do the rehousing. So what we're going to do that's different than normal is I'm going to pull the dirt out into this. I have another enclosure set here in case it wants to bolt, and try to drag it out and then basically cup it, and then we're going to bring the other enclosure up and put it in. So this should be a lot of fun. Last time I did these, they were fairly well behaved, but they can bolt. I have no idea how big this guy is. I will say the molt was probably about 3.5, 4 inches or so. So if it's a male, it could be much bigger. Males tend to, it's a sexually dimorphic species of spider. The males are a little bit smaller and tend to be a green color. The females are a gorgeous color of blue. So hopefully when we get this guy out, I'm thinking it might be a male because he tends to molt faster than some of the other ones. Well, we might not have the sock. This might be easier than I thought. Just want to get this stuff out of the way. Oh boy, whatever. And away we go. Grab my spoon. Now, as one of the Asian arboreals, I do keep these guys always very moist. I have heard people say they have issues with if they get too dry, they have bad molts. I've been very fortunate that my guys have molted several times now since I've gotten them as slings, and there's been no issues. I've been very careful with this species, though, to make sure everything stays nice and moist for them. All right. It's always the fun part, because you never know exactly where it is. And if I get really quiet, it's because I do try to concentrate on this. If you see it before I do, let me know.
Yes, we'll do.
The kids usually see it and run. So.
I'm sure.
Oh, and there's the silk tube. This is going to be the last. So this is technically an arboreal species. I mean, as adults, they will hang out in the trees, but it is one that anybody that keeps them will tell you as slings they dig, and they're almost like fossorial. I mean, they go straight down to the bottom. The enclosure I'm going to be giving is kind of a combination. It's got a lot more dirt than I usually put in for my arboreal guys. And this one, even when I made this one, I gave it some space in case it wanted to go up and be arboreal, but it hasn't done it yet. So it will have the opportunity to do whatever it wants. I'll start using the paintbrush here. That smells fantastic. What I'm going to do is try to compress this again. Try not to keep my face right now, so if this thing comes bolting out, I don't get a spider on my face. You see anything from your end?
No, nothing.
Yeah, there you can see some of the silk. Right there.
Oh my gosh.
Nice thing is I thought this one was, I was worried this one was drying out a little bit because I haven't been wetting it down as much. I try to keep that whatever the heck was growing, the mold, the fungus, whatever, this yellowy stuff, I gotta look it up. Trying to keep that down, but it's definitely nice and wet in the bottom. Best part is I have no idea how big this guy's gonna be. By best part, I mean probably the scariest part. You can see how far down they broke. Okay, there we go. Ideally, I'd like this whole thing to just fall over.
You said these guys tend to jump?
They can jump. It's arboreal, so some of the terrestrials will just kind of bolt out and sit there. These guys can leap. That's why I just want to be careful. I don't see it happening. Watch. I've had very good luck. It's probably going to run out eventually. Figure we're
Hopefully not today.
We're switching things up with you on it. So well, that's why I got you out here and not the kids, because you get bit.
Yay,
Just,
goody.
yeah, well, you'll get over it eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
Nope. Nope.
Oh,
there
he
we are.
is.
All right. Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. All right, so what I usually do is try to clean out the bottom part. You get a good shot of that?
Wow. Gorgeous.
All right. This is where it gets fun.
Okay.
What we do is
How
clean
close should I be?
I would back up just a little. It's not gonna. It shouldn't jump out and hit your face. If it does,
Okay.
it's gonna be on YouTube. We'll put it on one of those world's funniest shows, and you'll be
I
famous.
was gonna say it's like
No,
moving
ideally,
a little bit
I'd
every time you.
try to be very, very cautious, but it could, and quite frankly, it's directed toward me, so I'll just direct it toward you.
Oh my god.
There we go. All right, good, perfect. Oh yeah. All right, so what we're gonna do is try to keep this guy from getting out of this. Just keep an eye on him because I'm
man.
gonna be moving some stuff here.
Okay.
And away we go. Now, ideally, I want him a little more.
I was gonna say because he's gonna run right at the outside of the
back.
lid.
I'm gonna go ahead, get this ready, this out of the way. Oh my gosh, I hadn't seen.
He
If you
is
want to get a shot of it,
beautiful.
it's gorgeous. I think it. I'll try to get its molt. I have its molt. I haven't tried sexing it yet.
Beautiful spider. Okay.
Glad he's finally out of that. And the other thing I was worried about is that sock, because I don't want to bring over, hopefully, any of the spores and the stuff that was in there. Very good.
I was gonna say, can you hold the top?
It's here. The thing is, they're going to want to scoot around the back. There we go.
Oh my god.
It couldn't have worked any better. Top. Now the trick is with these to stay calm. Recognize that they are probably going to get out. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned with transferring these things. Is it used to be, oh God, don't let it get out. Now it's like, all right, that's not the worst thing that can happen.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh
my
No,
God.
it's arboreal. That was not perfect, but figures. The terrestrials, when I want them to come down, won't do it. All right, so ideally, I did not want to drop the spider, but it is an arboreal species. There we go. All right. Let's actually, we can get him right out in the sunlight. I want to get him in his new cage and warmed up quickly, but gorgeous. I can't believe how quickly these grew.
Oh, there we go.
Now, while I've got this guy out here, I can talk a little bit about him. Husbandry-wise, they eat like pigs. These guys were taking down large crickets, like second or third molt after I got them, so probably only about 2 inches long. They had no problem with them. They eat constantly. They molt quite a bit. They gain some decent size between molts. I mean, again, this guy I think this has been what? We got him from want to say Jamie's not that long ago, 6 months ago, maybe 5 months ago.
Probably.
I'd have to double check, so I haven't had them that long. So they're growing pretty quick. Now, as females, they can supposedly get 9.5, 10 inches. 9, 8, 9 seems to be standard, and they're big, beautiful females. I mean, just a gorgeous arboreal spider. Males, I believe, 5.5, 6 inches or so before they are basically mature, ready to breed, and they have more of an olive green color, not that blue. So I will try to sex. I have this one's molt I plucked out before, so I'll try to sex it later. But definitely pretty tarantulas. And temperature-wise, as with all of mine, they're all kept in a room where I do have a space heater. This time of year, with the furnace running in my heater, it's usually about, it's been about 72 all the time, up to 74, 75 when the heat kicks on. For the summertime, it's usually about 75, 76, up to 80. Every once in a while, we'll get a day 82, but I know last summer I don't think we ever got really near there. So we're going to go ahead and put this guy in his new enclosure. It's great. We got the arboreals that are supposed to be able to stick to something. That's the first time I've ever had a spider drop down from the top like that. All right. Now, just take a, actually, let me, just sideways. If you look in here, how I've got this set up, this is a Petco plant. I get these things like dirt cheap on sale, and Petco has one of its million sales. If anybody signs up for Petco's online thing, it's fantastic because you get an email every day and it's like 20% off. Hey, today it's 30% off. It just keeps going up. If you play it right, you get a lot of things for 40% off with the free shipping, which is nice. So I get the plants from there for my arboreal enclosures, cork bark from Eddie Herb, and I'll move this out of the way just for a minute so you can see. I'm giving this one the option. We've got kind of the semi-arboreal setup over here because I don't think this one's ready to go up high. And then we got some cork bark set down here where I already started burrow so it can go down underneath if it wants. The substrate is a mixture of peat moss, vermiculite, and just regular old topsoil, and basically it's been moisture. I've added water to it to a point where it'll hold its shape, and not crumble, but I can't squeeze moisture out of it. So this will remain moist for this girl or guy, probably girl. A couple mature males lately. I've got some girls going. We're gonna go ahead and try to get this one in here. We're gonna have the lid ready to go. Oh, and she will be getting, or he will be getting, a water bowl, one of the white Petco ones, which I believe I must have left in the house. But anybody that's watched my videos sees these white ceramic bowls that I get for about 79 cents for Petco when they have their sales. Away we go. Actually, you know what? You just grab the top of that for a minute. Set that right in here. And what I'll probably end up doing is just leaving the cardboard in. I don't freak out, bottom line, if a tarantula doesn't want it, especially when I get things online and you get them and they're all wrapped up. If they don't want to come out, I'm not going to aggravate the tarantula or put myself in a spot where the thing's going to go nuts. There's nothing wrong with a situation like this, leaving the piece of cardboard in until you can safely take it out. If I wanted to be a cowboy with this and go all nuts, I could probably poke it in the butt, get it off the
Wouldn't you just take the cardboard out while the cup's still down and then just pop it?
You can do it that way. I'm going to do that now, but if he looks like, sometimes what they'll do is they go up, especially the boros love to go up. So if he starts shooting up the cup again, I can very easily just leave this in here. Because I've seen things online where people will go, oh, I had to get it out of the cup. You don't have to get it out of the cup, or you don't have to get it off the cardboard. You can leave it in there. This thing's going to go out later, probably end up in its burrow or in one of these corners until it gets used to the enclosure, and then you can safely pull it out. So I think what happens is people feel like they're wimping out if they leave something in the enclosure, and I've done it before, especially with pokies that you know are going to bolt. I leave the stuff in there. But I think I can probably get this one out. There you go. There you go. Go ahead.
Yep.
Right, I want you to put the cap back on and two. Oh,
Where'd he go?
he's hiding.
Okay.
Go ahead and put it back on. Probably should have sunk that plant in a little better. That's it. Done. So, violaceopes. I have 3 of these, so there'll be, he's shot right up to the top, so that's why we're going to get the top up quickly. I have 3 of these, so there'll be another rehousing video. That one actually went fairly well, considering I don't like digging out those darn socks they have. Again, very fast grower, arboreal species, but will burrow. So if you get these, don't make the mistake of just immediately as slings setting them up as arboreals. They don't like that. They want nice, moist substrate like Asian terrestrial species do. They burrow. Know when you're transferring them that it's not going to be quite as simple as just spooning the stuff out. That sometimes they get caught in those basically web socks. And fresh water at all times. This one had an open water dish when it was in there. It's going to have a water dish in here. Keep the substrate moist by making a downpour. This isn't when you want to let it dry out, because I've heard from some much more experienced keepers than myself who have bred these, that if they dry out, they have bad molts, and that's where people lose a lot of them. And remember, these guys are quick. You saw how quickly that thing moved out of there, even in the colder weather. So take precautions when you're doing the rehousings. Give yourself a good open area. Make sure there's not pets and kids around. Make sure your wife's understanding that if she gets bit, she's not going to divorce you. And then go ahead, right? We did decide that?
Yes, we decided that.
Okay, good. And then basically just make sure when you set up the enclosures, especially for this one that's probably a juvenile, that you give it enough substrate so they can decide whether it wants to be arboreal yet or dig. So there'll be more on these in the future, because we'll do the other ones. And hopefully if I missed anything while I was talking about this, because sometimes I'm trying to concentrate on it, I forget some of my details. I'll just go ahead and add them in little notes. So we have violaceopes, the Singapore blue.